Alright, this is John Cola with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we've had another exciting episode for you using the Nama J2 to process coconuts to make coconut cream. And yes, even coconut flour after you dried the residue, after you get out making coconut cream in the Nama J2. It never fails to amaze me, all the amazing things that J2 can do. And of course, it is my primary go-to juicer that I use 90% of the time in my kitchen to make and bulk juice lots of juice. I have videos showing the Nama J2 bulk juicing. I'll put some links down below how I bulk juice root juice, bulk juice green juice. More importantly, if you guys choose to bulk juice, I encourage you guys also to watch my video how to store your juice for up to 7 days. That's very important, very critical, so that your juice does not degrade. Other influencers online will not show you my special techniques to store the juice the best way possible to prevent oxidation and further degradation of your juices. Also, of course, the Nama J2 can make frozen fruit sorbets and nut butters. If you guys buy the optional sorbet attachment, I'll put a link down below to my video where I make the sorbet and nut butter and show you guys how to do it. And in this episode, I'm going to show you guys how to make the coconut cream. I've gotten requests, John, does the Nama J2 make coconut cream? And I had to answer, well, it should, but I don't know. So today, I'm going to make it for you guys. All right, so let's get into it. So number one, you got to start with the right coconuts. Many people may use the brown coconuts. I prefer the white coconuts because they're a tad bit younger than the brown ones. And when you pick out a white coconut, you want to shake it. You want to hear the water slosh around a little bit. If the water does not slosh around, that means the coconut is too young and it's not going to have nice fat meat that then you can juice and process into the coconut cream that we're going to be making today. If you guys buy the brown coconuts, I'm not going to guarantee the same results because I'm using these coconuts. You know, I have a video where I juice bananas. Yes, whole bananas in the J2 and make banana juice. And I know some people have tried that and it didn't work for them. That's because what you guys don't understand is I carefully select the produce that's going to juice the best. So I did another video proving that the Nama J2 does juice bananas in front of some lovely ladies to show you guys how to do it. But yeah, in this episode, you got to make sure you get the right coconuts. These are the white coconuts on the mature side. If you guys look at these white coconuts, if you look closer, you can see the brown poking through a little bit over time. These would actually start to turn brown. If you guys are selecting brown coconuts to do this same process, then you want to shake them. And you want to make sure that the brown coconuts, have as much water as possible inside there. If the brown coconut doesn't shake and is really light, it means it's old and dried out. That's not going to process as well because the water content is a lot lower. And that's what really makes this process work. So I cannot emphasize enough the importance of selecting the right produce to juice. Just because you used it one time and it didn't work doesn't mean the next time when you get different quality produce, it's not going to work better. Same thing with juicing. Guys, when you guys juice in the Nama J2 or any other slow juicer, you want to select fruits that are nice, hard, and firm for the best results. Soft fruits don't juice well. Too young coconuts don't juice well. Super old coconuts wouldn't juice as well either. You need them just right. Now the next thing I will say is that you don't want to store your coconuts in the fridge. Take them out of the fridge and then process into coconut cream. At colder temperatures, the fats kind of congeal and get solid, and they're not as likely to come out of the coconuts. So you want to put the coconuts in the sun. You could put the coconuts on top of your refrigerator inside your house, which is generally a bit warmer than the rest of your house, to heat them up a little bit. You could put them in a dehydrator and warm them up a little bit. But the warmer the temperature of the starting coconuts, providing they're not like, you're not baking them, it's going to work a lot better to extract more of that fat that you guys want. All right. The next disclaimer I will give is that some people do not handle their saturated fat as well as others. So I want you guys to look into this and don't just think because it's fat, it's good. Yeah, appropriate amounts of fats are good for us, of course. And also our bodies can manufacture the saturated fat we need. We do not need to get it from external sources such as coconuts and, animal products is where it's usually found. So in any case, with that disclaimer, let's go ahead and open these coconuts. On the coconuts, there's basically 2 eyes that have ridges on them. They're usually a bit smaller, and then one mouth, which is a little bit larger. I take a nice fish knife that has a skinny end on it, and I'll go into the large hole and just shave it out. I want you guys to listen very carefully as I puncture this. Usually it'll make a psst sound. In any case, this one didn't. So we're just going to go around and we're just going to carve out a nice round hole out of this coconut, because the first thing we want to do is we want to get the little plug out. And then what we want to do is we're going to expand the hole. So now we can just put it on top of this glass pitcher with a sieve, and we're going to drain out all the coconut water. All right, once all the coconut water is drained out, then we're going to go ahead and take a meat cleaver. And what I like to do is on the coconut, there's always a little tip end and the end with the eyes and the mouth. And you want to hold it like the earth, and around the equator of the earth or the equator of the coconut is the weak spot. What you're going to do is you're going to take a knife and very carefully tap it. You don't have to like hit it super hard, but you're just going to tap it on the middle equator and turn it. So you're just basically kind of fracturing it as you do this. You don't have to do it super hard, guys. You're just going to keep going around, tapping it really easily. And at some point, you guys are going to look, the coconut will open up. I've seen people take hammers of coconuts and do all these crazy things, bashing it, and they're just making a mess. So this is the best way, and it's super easy as well. So there's a few little coconut shreds in there that we're going to remove. Now the next step is we got to get the meat out of the coconut. I see many people just take random knives and stick it in there and try to get the coconut out. Let me tell you guys are almost guaranteed to cut yourself if you guys are going to try to do that with a regular knife. Or, you know, I heard some people put this in the oven and then put it on bake and then heat it up and then it'll separate. That being said, I always like the right tool for the right job, which is my grandfather taught me, HL Kohler. And we got a special coconut demeating tool. This is my favorite. It says Lee House on there. I'll put a link down by my Amazon shop where I have all my favorite coconut tools that you guys could buy. And we're simply just going to put this in between the shell and the meat. Oh, and I want to point out the meat. Look at the meat on that. This is an optimal coconut to be processing because the meat is nice and fat and nice and watery. The thicker the meat, the more fat there is in the meat as well. Of course, as it dries out, the fat content goes up. That's why I like it a little bit more moist. It's going to process a lot better to get the liquids, including the fats, out of the coconut. So we're just going to go ahead and take the coconut demeating tool, shove it in between the shell and the flesh of the coconut. And we're just going to go ahead and whittle it around little by little. All right, so as you guys can see, I've pretty much separated out the coconut shell from all the coconut flesh. Now there is what's called a testa layer on here. This is a very important point, guys. You want to make sure that there are no shell fragments. If you just got the soft white testa or the brown testa, it is perfectly fine, but there may be some, leftover shell fragments near the bottom. You definitely want to get all these out. If these go through the juicer, it will void your warranty, because what's going to happen if you get a piece of shell into the juicer, it will crack the screen. So I'm warning you guys, do this at your own risk and be careful when you're processing coconuts to get all shell fragments off. I like this method instead of cracking it into a million pieces, because simply we just got one coconut flesh and one shell. So I'm going to go ahead and demeat the other half. All right, there we go. Got the other half out. Once again, we want to make sure all shell fragments and pieces of shell are off this meat. If you guys want your coconut cream to be pure white color, then what you want to do is you want to take a knife and cut off all this brown stuff. I personally could care less if my coconut cream is brown or white. The brown will discolor your coconut cream, but it definitely will give you more fiber, which I think is a good thing. All right, so once we've got our coconut meats here, the next step is we're just going to go ahead and cut this into pieces. This is a very important step. You don't want to put too big of chunks into the NAMA J2. All right, so we got that cut into chunks. Now we're just going to go ahead and turn the machine on. Another very important step, guys, is that this was set up for juicing. The other important step is you're going to process the coconuts like you would when you're making a nut milk or sorbet or nut butter. Once again, links down below to the sorbet and nut butter video, and also the nut milk video where I show this technique. You're just going to put in a little bit at a time. You don't want to load up the hopper and let it process all. The coconut is a little bit more harder texture than vegetables, and you definitely don't want to overload the juicer when you're juicing. So by doing this a little bit at a time, it's going to allow the machine to work and put the least amount of pressure on it. As you guys can see, we're getting some coconut milk out of the juicer. Now, as this is running, I'm going to go ahead and open more coconuts and get more meat out. Alright, as you guys can see, I fed in things too fast and then the machine kind of locked up. So now we just got to go ahead and hold the reverse, let it sit there in the reverse for a little bit, and then turn it back on forward. And it'll continue to go. If you do lock it up and it just freezes up, that's because you put too much in at once and you definitely want to slow down. So you're going to want to wait and let everything clear out of the pulp port, and don't put anything else in until this has stopped moving. Then you could put your next bits of coconut in there. Alright, so as you guys can see, this batch is almost done. I'm going to process another coconut, but I thought I'd stop this for you guys, show you guys the results. So we made approximately 1 cup of the coconut cream. Some may consider this coconut milk. I don't consider this coconut milk. If you wanted the coconut milk, what you would do is you would take the water out of the coconut and or purified water. Maybe I do up to 16 to 24 ounces, and then blend the water and the meat together like a rough blend. Don't blend things super fine, and then pour that a little bit into the thyme into the J2, and watch my nut milk video down below because it's pretty much the same process that would make a nut milk. This I would call a cream because it's a lot more fatty, a lot more rich, than the coconut milk that's more watered down. And of course, this is a little bit liquid now, but it's quite thick liquid, so it's like a heavy cream, like if you bought dairy cream, so it's the vegan alternative. If you guys want this to harden up and be full cream, then you're just going to go ahead and put this in the fridge, I don't know, for 4 to 5 hours, and it'll be nice and thick and like cream. So we're just going to go ahead and try it. We're going to take a nice spoonful. Wow, guys. That's definitely not a milk. It's really rich and fatty. Like it's just really fatty. So, and I'm doing kind of like low saturated fats in my personal diet. So, what I like to use this for is like making an ice cream, for example, because a cream will really make a nice, beautiful ice cream. I'll blend this with some like dates and maybe some other fresh fruit or freeze-dried fruit, and then put it in my ice cream maker. It'll make one fabulous ice cream that I actually think I'll be doing in a little bit. Now, the other thing I want to show you guys is what came out of the juicer. So basically we have coconut shreds right here on this side, and they're quite fine. Now, these are defatted coconut shreds. So if you take these defatted coconut shreds, you put them in a dehydrator, you put them in an oven at a low temperature for a longer amount of time, they will basically dry out. You can then put them in a blender and then powder them into a flour, or you could use them as is. And now you have a gluten-free flour you guys can use for cooking and for other recipes. So that's amazing that now you can make your own coconut cream in the Nama J2 juicer. So the last thing I want to do before I leave is I want to process more coconuts to basically fill up this jar and show you guys how many coconuts it takes to make a lot of coconut cream and how much we can make in the Nama J2. Of course, the Nama J2 is a household juicer, not meant for commercial use. And let's go ahead and crack these coconuts. I think we're going to go ahead and fast forward this part of the video so you guys can see the process, but we'll speed it up to save you guys some time. As you guys can see, I'm down to my last bit of coconut. I've processed 3 coconuts so far, and it looks like I basically got 3 cups of the coconut cream came out of the Nama J2. Now, I will say it stopped about 4 times during the process. It would just basically lock up. It wouldn't move When that happens, don't be concerned. Just know that, hey, maybe I'm feeding too quickly, so I need to slow down and give the machine more time to work in between each piece I put in. The other thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and stop the machine and reverse it momentarily, get it unjammed, and then go forward. If it's still locked up, then no problem. Just go reverse again and go forward to get it unlocked up. Of course, after you put the last piece of coconut in there, it's still going to be processing some of the coconut cream as it's coming out. How you'll know when it's done is if the pulp stops moving out of the back of the machine, as well as the machine stops dripping. So we're going to go ahead and give this about another 30 seconds to 60 seconds of run to make sure we get every last bit of that valuable coconut cream out of my coconuts. All right, so you guys can see we got one whole nice full jar, 3 cups of the thick coconut cream. Once again, if you want it solid, put it in the fridge to harden up. This can be used for different baking, cooking, blend it up into different sauces. I'm going to turn this into actually an ice cream a little bit later on. But before I go, I want to show you guys one secret when you do make coconut cream. I don't want you to forget to do this step. Watch this step, guys. It's really cool. Take another cup, put it underneath where the juice comes out. We're going to take a little bit of that coconut water. If you don't have any coconut water because you've already drank it because it's so good, you could actually just go ahead and put in some regular water, purified water, of course. And we're going to basically just close the spout cap, and we're going to put in maybe like, I don't know, 16 ounces or so of the water, and we're going to go ahead and turn the machine on. What's happening now is the quote-unquote auto-cleaning function that I've shown in my other videos. Links down below to my videos on that. But basically it's auto-cleaning, and as it's auto-cleaning, we're pulling out more of the fat. Some of the pulp may start to come out in a little bit as well. And you're going to let that run for about a minute or two. And then you're going to open up the spout cap. And look at this, right? Instantly, from the coconut water and the meat existing, and we're actually cleaning the machine at the same time, we went from coconut water to some coconut milk, a light milk, to the heavy coconut cream, all thanks to the Nama J2 juicer. I gotta try this. Wow. That coconut milk tastes immensely better than just the coconut water that came out. The coconut water's kind of got a little bit of astringent taste, not as sweet. So just a little bit of coconut fat, and the meat makes the water taste great. Of course, you could save some coconut at the end process to do a few times, or like put coconut in, clean it out, get some milk, and then put some more coconut in there, let it process, and put some more water in there to make some more amazing coconut milk. So there you guys have it. You learned how to make the coconut cream in the Nama J2 juicer using the more mature white coconuts today. You also learned how to make the coconut milk at the end to actually help you clean it up. So now when you go to clean, it's going to be a lot cleaner on the inside. And the final thing is, of course, we got all these nice coconut shreds to a nice fine consistency. Now these are defatted coconut shreds. So just dehydrate these or dry these in the sun, put these in the oven to bake at a low temperature. You can then just add these directly to different cookies and baked goods or other recipes. You can also grind this further into a coconut flour that is, of course, gluten-free as well. So, you know, it never fails to amaze me, all the amazing features that the Nama J2 can do right out of the box, or especially if you guys get that sorbet attachment with the nut butters and the frozen fruit sorbets. If you guys are interested in buying the Nama J2 juicer, hey guys, do me a favor and do you guys yourselves a favor at the same time. If you guys use a coupon code COCONUT10, that'll save you guys 10% off the Nama J2 juicer, which inside the United States is $55. Of course, Nama also ships worldwide at discounted DHL shipping rates. So to like Europe, it's like maybe 30 euros. To Germany, to Canada, I saw some customers got it for like $20. And so you guys could buy it. They'll ship it to you. And of course, the best thing about Nama is that no matter where in the world you guys are, you guys get the 15-year warranty. That cannot be discounted. Many countries that sell juicers similar to the Nama, other brands may only have a 2-year parts warranty, whereas Nama is going to warranty this machine, the whole machine, for 15 years, which is your guarantee that you will have a juicer that works for the next 15 years. You know, you guys buy something once, you buy it right, and it's going to be a machine that will last for you guys to process your coconuts, to make your frozen fruit sorbets, to make your nut butters, and of course, make your green juices, vegetable juices, and fruit juices as well. That's why I love the NAMA J2. Once again, use that coupon code COCONUT10. You guys save 10% off. But more importantly, when you guys use that coupon code, NAMA will share with me a small commission so I can continue to make these educational videos for you guys, share with you guys my best practices on how to use the NAMA J2 so it works for you guys perfectly every single time. I have videos that you're not going to find on other channels, such as how to juice bananas, link down below that, as well as how to juice wheatgrass the proper way so that it works beautifully in the NAMA J2. Much like many things in life, you got to treat it right and it's going to put out for you the best quality results. So I want to thank you guys, for those of you guys that you do use my coupon code, because it really allows me to continue to do what I'm really passionate about and I love, is to share the power of the plant foods, and more importantly, share with you guys the best equipment to process that in your kitchen to get the most nutrition and the greatest health benefits. So if you guys enjoyed this episode today, learning about the NAMA J2 juicer, how to make the coconut cream the best way, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Also, more importantly, please be sure to share this video with others that are interested in making the coconut cream. Maybe if you're a part of a keto community, you could show them, hey man, the NAMA J2 makes the coconut cream, but you could also juice the greens in it that of course are low carbohydrate, so you guys can stay on your keto diet if that is what you guys are on. Also be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new and upcoming episodes. I'll be coming out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel, what new machines I'll be testing and unboxing, or what machines I'll be comparing, or what juicing knowledge bombs and vacuum blending knowledge bombs I'll be dropping on you, and I wouldn't want you to miss any single episode. So make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. The past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 700 episodes at this time on this channel dedicated to teach you guys all about the different appliances that will allow you to process your fruits and vegetables and other plant foods in the best way possible. Also, links down below to some of the videos I made in the past about the NAMA J2 that really shows it off. And we'll share with you guys features and tips and tricks you guys aren't going to hear on any other channel. One I would recommend you guys watch for sure is 10 things they don't tell you about the NAMA J2, where I go in deep sharing my best tips for you guys so that you guys can have the best experience juicing. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.